There are rumors that you could be given a position in the government. I am head of the DF government here. The president. There's nothing bigger than that. If I had wanted freebies, probably I wouldn't be here. And people should understand that some people are what they are, and they will never settle for crumbs. Okay? So go and tell your listeners that I'm the president of the Democratic Front. I am committed to building this young party. Its objectives are well enshrined in our founding documents. I fully understand the obligations before me. I also know the duty to the nation that listens to me and the DF, and therefore there are no shortcuts in what we are doing. I'm also aware there are so many people who want positions. So the one that you think should have been mine should be given those who want them. Okay. So, and unfortunately, I'm not one of them. So you will miss me on that famous list. About the opposition being trusted, because the opposition did inform the nation that they will not only win the election, last election, but they will demand for victory should the vote be stolen. First of all, that should be a question to everybody. The question I can answer is that the opposition has a duty indeed. We have some trust issues, I agree, but so is the population. Does the population know what they want? That's the question we must all answer. I am part of the population. I am also part of the leadership of the opposition. There is a huge duty for us to restore public confidence in our direction. At the DF, we have been consistently demanding for opposition unity because we know for a fact, we even published our stance on what would constitute opposition unity. And what we would do with that unity, it's not simply a congregation for numbers, but unite and pursue particularized objectives. So what you're asking me, what the NUP promised the people and their leader in self-exile is their business. So if eating jackfruit at the seaside is part of the Kukawanja, we have never discussed that at the DF. That should not be my question. Okay? So when you get at a press conference at the NUP, ask them whether they are Kukawanja or eating jackfruit as part of Kukawanja. So, and I would like to ask the population to be serious. Serious, very serious. Issues of national leadership are very serious issues. And the jockeying must stop. People must stop playing on people's brains. It must stop. We're laid back, not for lack of what to say, but we know what's going on. We know the games people are playing. So, my brother, have the courage to ask that question to the right people, but also, the only thing I can do is to invite the population to also be more serious. The way you thought, Mr. Sendegeya, that's my view. The beauty is that the DF has published its stance on what needs to be done. Some people purport not to see what we are saying, but they go behind and then say it in a different way. The DF has called for various reforms. The nature of reform that will help political parties survive. I'll give you an example. We lost our dear sister, the Honorable Erin Nachimuli. the woman MP for Kalangala district, may also rest in peace. If the NUP were a serious political party, and they had followed the guidance we had offered them then, that instead of going for noise, let's go for reforms. Let's propose for proportional representation. There will be no by-election in the islands. The NUP would simply just nominated a replacement. But because people do not want to listen to what they do not know, I don't know whether it is slow learning or incapacity of learning, or both. Where we are. PR as a concept of representative governance would have given the opposition a lot of opportunity to occupy space. We are instead making noise to this level that we even lose our own voices and we cannot even understand what we are listening to. So the opposition must become more serious, must understand that you cannot do the same thing all the time, change slogans, doing the same thing. On another day, I would have used in summary a term that befits a person who does that over and over, but not for today. So don't provoke me to say things I don't want to say here. Anything that you need to follow up with? Without even reading provisions one by one, I look at the first page, the memorandum of the bill. Until you change the memorandum of the bill, I construe the provision as the same. So let me wait for an edited memorandum, then I can have another say. You see the same bill. You do not change the memorandum at a press conference or on Twitter. You bring it to Parliament. Then we can speak a different language about it. Otherwise, this is the bill. Do you have another copy? Go ahead.
Thank you so much.
Variously. Did you believe her? I am not a spokesperson, but I can speak to the job I did as head of the opposition. You probably followed how much what I changed on the floor by way of my propositions, by way of my motions, by way of the several bills that government brought, and I was able to amend them. You know, so the speaker has a right to speak in a manner that makes her feel good. I have no right to deny her feeling good about her work. I have my space as an opposition person, and I utilize it the way I elect to use it. But what I think is pertinent from her statement is that the opposition must understand that the space available in Parliament is not for really just looking smart. It must be for serious business. You remember the East African Pipeline bill? Do you remember how much I changed in that bill? Probably you didn't pay attention. You remember alternative statements and how they changed the government operations? Go and study the oppositional legislative agenda that I issued in 2021 and see how much of that government moved with. Then you can understand the work of serious opposition. It's not just standing up and down. It's about following government actions, you know. I issued and authored an alternative policy for managing public debt. It was competence entirety. So I don't want to blow my trumpet, probably it's not loud enough, but I encourage the media to follow up the work the opposition does. You know, I proposed legislation over 5 years. 2/3 were copied by government, and they were made government bills. That's what the opposition is not about jumping up and down. It's about understanding the scope of duty and do it to change the way government works. I hear government priding itself in giving local governments 1 billion every financial year to make roads. You have forgotten whose motion it was? So people should really know how the opposition works and how things should be done. But I do not begrudge the Right Honourable Speaker. It's all right to feel good about her work. The opposition has a duty to assert presence and not simply make noise. Thank you.
Please, the DF is presumed by law to be a national party. So if that prayer is granted by the Constitutional Court, it means that that act will cease. So, Parliament, when we proposed to Parliament constitutional reforms, they ignored us. So we are going to the Constitutional Court to have whatever we want effected in the Constitution done. And perhaps at the end of the day, we will have better laws, we will have a more disciplined electoral commission. The president has told you that one of the prayers is we are seeking to bar the military and security agencies from involvement in the electoral process and interference in the electoral process. You also, the military, you also, security agencies, actively engaged in the electoral process. One of our members of parliament, the Honorable Mbatekamwa, has actually shown a very key and significant affidavit. He says that the SFC took over the work of the Electoral Commission. They actually manned the BVK machines. They were the ones even issuing ballot papers. Now, how can the military be involved to such an extent in an election? So, if that prayer is granted, certainly we shall not expect involvement of the military in the next election. Very soon we are coming to, we are going for LC1 elections. So that is the impact and that is the implication. It means, therefore, that once those prayers are granted, we will not see those unconstitutional acts happening again. Mr. President, I thought I would just chip in at that level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
For making that elaboration. I think it makes a lot of sense in clarifying exactly what we meant, including they're not limited to the petition. What we have said about this particular bill is what we believe in, and like I said, we await the amendment of the memorandum. But I hasten to say, there's no amount of amendment that will cure this ill-fated bill. So an amendment of this incurably defective bill will not make it a bipartisan bill at any moment. We consider it as incurably defective and advise the Attorney General to eat humble pie, tail it between legs, and withdraw it for the good and tranquility of the country, because it's incurably defective. Mu bufunze twabaise okugabana nammwe ensonga 3 kubigenda maaso mu ggwanga n'ebiri eno ewaffe mu DF. Ekisooka okutegeeza eggwanga nti twabategeezaako mu lukuŋŋaana olwaggo olw'amawulire nti ekibiina kya Democratic Front kiri mu kwetegereza ensonga nnyingi ezaaliwo mu kalulu akaggwa gyekyagala okutwala mu kkooti naye twali mu kaseera katonda tukyebuuza ku bammemba b'ekibiina, bannamateeka ne bannayuganda ab'enjawulo abwakwatibwako okulonda okw'ebitege bwe twavaamu. Era njagala okutegeeza mwami Sendege wa CBS ekyokubanga DFT yafuna member wa parliament tukimanyi nti twafuna obuwanguzi mu bitundu bingi ne butuulibwako era twebuulirira ne tutagenda mu kooti nga tumanyi abaabutuulako ekigendererwa kyabwe era tubawulira kati beewaana ku bye baakola ne tugamba katukole ekyo tulina okukola ekinaayamba eggwanga so si ekinaayamba abantu sekinnoomu kyetukoze tugenze mu kooti ya ssemateeka ebeeko ensonga zeewaako ebiragiro bwe bekkaanyiza naffe ku bibuuzo bitwagala eddemu ng'ekkaanya naffe ku nsonga enkulu 9 z'enfunziza omuli okulemererwa kakacu k'ebyokulonda okussa enkola ekiragiro kya ssemateeka ndi buli luvannyuma lw'okubala abantu emyaka 10 balina okuddamu ne basala ensalo za constituency. Ssemateeka abaamukola bakirowooza bulungi ne bassaawo n'omuwendo ogw'essalira tewali muntu yandibadde akiikirira abantu mu parliament nga basukka emitwalo 10 gye bayita population quota. N'olwekyo kubanga okwala abantu kubeera oluvannyuma lw'emyaka 10 abantu bakyuka obungi, abato bakula ne bazaala bannaabwe, muwendo ne gweyongera. So twasembayo okubala abantu mu 2024 etteeka ligamba oluvannyuma lw'emyezi 12 tulina okuddamu okusala ensalo za constituency. Tekyakolebwa. Twagala ekkooti ya ssemateeka ekkaanye naffe gyoko kubanga bwegamba nti kyali mu wabweru w'amateeka neewa ekiragiro nga kigenda mu maaso so kigamba tugira tutambula tutyo kubanga yina eddembe okugamba nti bakisalirewo oba okulonda okukola ki okujja. Ekyo si kyaffe kya kkooti ya ssemateeka. Ekyokubiri y'ensonga akakiiko ebyokulonda gye kaagulamu obuuma obwalemwa okuzuukuka ku lunaku lw'okulonda nga babugula tewalina tteeka webabugulira, tewali kirambika ngeri gye bunaakozesebwamu, nezo bayita regulations ezaakolebwa zaali za kimpatiira. Regulation mu mateeka eva mu tteeka kkulu, so tewali tteeka likulembera regulation. Regulation ziba litangaaza ngeri gye munaakozesaamu etteeka. So ekyo tebyakolebwa. Twagala kkooti ya ssemateeka ekkaanye naffe nti obuuma obwagulwa wabweru bw'amateeka era sitwewuunya lwaki era tebwakozesebwa nga bwali birina okukola. Ekyokusatu ye register eyakozesebwa mu kulonda. Twagala kkooti ya ssemateeka ekkaanye naffe nti omulimu gw'okukola register gwakolebwa mu ngeri ya kibugwe era ebeeka engeri gyerambika gye bulina okukolebwamu okulonda okunaddako tekukufaana bwetyo kuba tulowooza nti engeri gyakolebwamu register kyekimu ku byalemesa okulonda okubeera okw'amazima. Tulina register eya computer ate tulina register ey'ekitabo.
Fellow Ugandans, the Uganda Communication Commission would like to address you regarding the responsible use of communication platforms in light of the recent developments. We are aware of the Constitutional Court decision that annulled certain provisions of the Computer Misuse Amendment Act 2022. Following this ruling, there have been reports of increased misuse of social media and other digital platforms. Some users appear to have been misled into believing that there is currently no other law governing the use of computer systems in Uganda. We wish, therefore, to clarify that this is not the case. While the court annulled specific sections of the law, such as those relating to unauthorized access, hate speech, unsolicited and malicious information, and misuse of social media, many other provisions of the Computer Misuse Act remain fully in force. As a matter of emphasis, we would like to emphasize that the annulment of those said sections of the Computer Misuse Amendment Act 2022 obviously does not sanction or condone such behavior or misuse of computer platforms. Hate speech, unsolicited and malicious information, misuse of social media is still morally ethically and legally unacceptable behavior that can be prosecuted under other existing laws on cyber harassment, cyber stalking, electronic fraud, and other such related laws. Similarly, although certain provisions on libel under the Penal Code were annulled, the rest of the Penal Code Act remains applicable. In addition, other laws, including the Uganda Communications Act, the Data Protection and Privacy Act, and the Children's Act, continue to regulate the use of communication platforms and protect the rights of individuals. We therefore urge all users to exercise responsibility in their use of digital platforms. Let us use technology to advance our socio-economic well-being and not to harm others, violate their rights, or undermine peace and security of our country. We also encourage the public to report any misuse of communication platforms to the Uganda Communications Commission or the Uganda Police Force. Let us all play our part in ensuring a safe, respectful, and secure digital environment for everybody. I thank you.